Welcome to the Community Spotlight podcast with my guest today, Deputy Kevin Davidson and Deputy Corey Collins. I want to make sure I got it right. Thank you both for being a part, and they are from the Marion County Sheriff's Office, correct?
That is correct, Dave.
We got all that data down correctly today. My understanding today is one of the topics we want to get, or the main topic, is talk about public safety cadets.
That's right.
And I think Corey over here is going to enlighten us.
Yeah, absolutely. So our Public Safety Cadet Program that we have at the Marion County Sheriff's Office, we have now partnered with the Marion Police Department. It used to be known as the Explorers Program, which was through the Boy Scouts of America.
Right.
Just due to some different guidelines and stuff, we found that the Public Safety Cadets were a little easier for us to work with. They are actually ran by old retired police officers mainly, and they're a whole national organization, and they've got the whole 501c3 status and everything, so it's pretty much the same thing, just ran through retired police officers instead of ran through the Boy Scouts. So basically it's almost the same thing as the Explorers. It's for kids ages 14 to 20 that are interested in a career in law enforcement, and we do our best to enlighten them and teach them the most that we can about law enforcement.
And those ages, again, are 15 to, what'd you say, 20?
14 to 20.
14 to 20 years age. So who can join the public safety cadets?
Right now, any student or child in the county of Marion that falls within that age range from 14 to 20, we do have just a couple requirements for them. They do have to maintain a C average in school.
Okay.
They have to have a good moral standing. They can't have any like juvenile criminal record or anything like that. And we just request that they try to make as many meetings as they can and try to actually participate in those meetings and show that they're actually interested in the career as a whole.
Now, how are they funded? How is this funded?
So right now we are all fully self-funded. We go through fundraisers. We have donations. One of our major sources of funding that we did with the Explorers back when they were a post was the Marion County Fair. The cadets this past year went out and they worked a parking detail with the Marion County Fair, and we signed a contract with them. We parked cars the whole week.
I bet that was quite interesting.
It's always a good experience getting the kids out there and gets them exposed to the public in good ways and bad ways.
I was going to say that's a double-edged sword there.
Yes, it is.
I'm sure Kevin would agree with his years in the.
Absolutely,
and,
Dave, absolutely.
You know, I mean, you see it all, don't you, when you're out on the front line?
Yes.
And the good, the bad, and the ugly, just like the movie, right? Kind of like. And so I understand that. So anyhow, that was part of what they did at the Marion County Fair then.
Yep. So they've got the Marion County Fair. We've been trying to work with a couple other places. That's been like the main source of funding for the Explorers for many, many years.
Okay.
Ever since I've kind of came in and become a mentor, I've tried to find other avenues to make a little bit more money. We'll get to it a little later here, but the cadets go out to do competitions and stuff, and to get them and travel costs and stuff, it costs more and more money. So
everything costs more money.
Yeah, it does. So we're trying to find more avenues and stuff for more fundraising opportunities. Sure. Filing for grants. We have a reimbursement grant right now that we actually got filed through the Marion Police Department. Lieutenant Ed Brown has been awesome with that stuff. With their office, just trying to get us extra funding and extra money so that way we can buy equipment, get their uniforms. And one of the good things about us doing that is that we're able to offer this program for free for all of those kids, ages 14 to 20. So
now what do you actually teach? What's actually being taught to these cadets?
So we range from anything from interview and interrogation to doing a crime scene investigation, to which includes them fingerprinting, learning how to fingerprint, how to collect evidence, how it should be bagged, tagged, ranging to handling calls like an assault. Like we run scenarios. Like say I'll come up with a scenario, say they're responding to a fight at a bar, and they have to respond. They have to interview all the witnesses, the suspects, and then make that ultimate determination on if they're going to arrest anybody or not. We just try to teach them the same thing that we learned in the police academy. We refer to it as like a watered down police academy is what we're going through and teaching them.
Okay, and of course they're not going out and
They're not going out and actually
doing these
this.
things. They're just learning the kind of like the processes. This is what you go through, kind of get their, what do I want to say, their feet wet.
Yep.
And understanding what
Yep.
procedure is. You got to follow certain sets of procedure. Am I correct? Or is
Yep.
it-
Yep.
That's kind of the way this goes.
Yep, just trying to teach them that this is pretty much our day-to-day, and to generate that interest in law enforcement and make sure that this is what they want to do in their future, and try to start teaching them young, so that way when they actually are eligible to go to the police academy, they're a step ahead of other kids that didn't take advantage of this program.
Well, deputies, I'm going to ask you both this. What makes, I guess the word I'll use is an ideal candidate for somebody to be in law enforcement? What's some of the top things you would look at?
Well, I think what Corey mentioned earlier, Dave, was the, you want to kind of start with no trouble, no, history of,
Okay.
not that should be held against everybody if there is some minor trouble in the past, but we want to make sure they've got a clean record and they are a pretty good student, or at least a student in good standing. Family support, that's a big thing, especially with the young kids.
Yes.
Maybe I should mention too that all those years ago, I started in the Explorer program at the Sheriff's office, and then I moved from that went to the academy, and then here we sit today on the precipice of retirement. So
But this career has been very good to you.
it has been, and I've enjoyed it, and it's a lot of ups and downs.
Oh,
but,
yes.
but it's been much enjoy and just giving back and trying to be a positive influence.
Okay, anything you would add to that?
I would say that an ideal police officer, you have to have a good moral character, a good moral compass, and be able to make those decisions, not because it's what you have to do, but because it's what you should do. Those good decisions that you need to have to excel in this career.
Well, I think and I'm just giving this from somebody that's not in your field, I would think you have to be used to being, or you're going to have to get used to this, how to accurately assess the situation that you're really dealing in. Because it's, I'm sure, a little easy to get off of that if you got emotional people who are normally upset, depending upon whatever the infraction may be or whatever's going on. And so I always say the ability to process that information is where a lot of times people get in little problems, because you, as officers, you're asked to make split-second judgments. And like all of us, none of us are perfect. That's just the way it is. But I would say, be very critical to learn how to assess what you're really looking at as quickly as you can. That comes with time and experience, so doesn't it?
It does, David. Like I said, you take what's in front of you and you work backwards, and then you try to diffuse.
Yes.
And try to keep. You got to maintain yourself being calm, of course. That's what we want to teach
Definitely.
these kids, and then don't get emotional. I mean, people you're going to be dealing with are very emotional. It's hard not to be emotional back.
Sure.
But you have to be the one in control. Take control of the situation, because they called you because they couldn't handle the situation they were in. So therefore,
And they're not in control of the situation.
so we show
yes.
up and we have to take control, and then we split up and we calm people down, and then we take what's in front of you and we start working backwards to find out what happened.
And that's one of the things with these cadets that I try to do in those scenarios that I come up with, is to expose them to that, and using actors and stuff. And most of the time it's police officers and deputies that have been in these situations, so they kind of can draw on those experiences and use that to expose the cadets to those experiences, but in a more controlled environment where it's not as volatile. It's more controlled, and just gets them exposed to it to see how they act, and then based on how they act, we can kind of refine that and show them that this is how we need to react, and this is what you're going to deal with.
I like that word you use, refining, because it is a refining process.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you an example. You can go through a scenario with people, and okay, now in my mind up here, I'm thinking, well, I got this. Well, the next thing is there might be a little tweak in that scenario and something else that comes along, so I constantly have to make adjustments to this. That's why I'm saying assessing things is so important. Is what I'm saying is this, or what I'm observing and what I'm hearing here is, am I assessing this properly? I would think that would be so crucial in anything. I don't know what else I could say about it. I think that's pretty much exhausts that. But I'm always interested in what goes on, because again, officers are asked to go out and do a lot. And quite frankly, you're almost asked to be perfect, at least some people, and none of us is perfect, and none of us make all the maybe right judgments at the right time. None of us do. But again, being able to assess those, I'd say that'd be a very critical, set of skills.
Definitely.
What kind of events do your public safety cadets, now you said that they were out at the fair and they were on the car parking. I mean, that's a very good one because you see the worst of people in cars.
Definitely.
You get them behind the wheel of a car. And
You would be surprised how upset people get when they don't get their specific parking spot.
Yes.
Some of the other events and stuff that they do, for the first time in several years, we were able to take the cadets this past year to the competition in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's a national competition where all of these explorer groups and public safety groups come together and they compete against each other in different events and scenarios. Like I'm making up and running them through. They have a national standard that they have come up with in different scenarios that they run. So anything ranging from a 911 hang-up call that they respond to, which can really turn into anything, to an unknown trouble call, an officer rescue and first aid scenario, a force options, use of force options that they took part in using a use of force simulator. And they compete against these. We had teams from California and all over the United States that went to Gatlinburg to compete in this competition. They compete for scholarship opportunities. They have trophies there that they're able to compete for. And it's just an opportunity, too, for them to get together with a lot of these national branches of federal law enforcement. We had partnered with the FBI, FLETC, the Federal Law Enforcement Training Academy, and a bunch of these different places that were able to get together to share their experiences and to just continue. The more experience that we can give these kids and the more that we can share what we've been through, the better that they are going to turn out and the more that they are going to know what to expect when they get into this job in the future.
Processing information and honing skills.
Honing skills, yep.
And that's kind of where this sounds.
Yep.
All right, deputies, any final thoughts here today?
Do you want to leave contact
definitely.
information?
Yeah, definitely. If we have any students that are interested in the public safety program, we have the Marion Police Department. If they have a cadets page on their website. If you go on there, there's an application available there. You can do that, or if you want to just call the sheriff's office and ask to speak with Deputy Collins, I'm always available and I will return your call as soon as I can. And that would be at 740-382-8244, and my extension is 5133. Leave me a voicemail with just your name, school information, and a contact number to get back to you. And I did want to mention, too, when I said we have those fundraising events and different things that I've been thinking of, we are working on a car show for next year. May 18th is our date that we're doing that. All proceeds from that car show will go towards the public safety cadets and their funding and stuff to be able to fund their next national competition that we're going to, along with buying equipment and stuff like that as well. And that will be May 18th of 2023, and that will be at the Marion County Sheriff's Office between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m.
Well, I thank you both for coming over and speaking to us about the public safety cadets and the program that you have going on in Marion County. And I want to thank again, I got to always look down because I'm bad, I don't want to get names wrong, Deputies Kevin Davidson and Deputy Corey Collins.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We always like coming up here talking to you guys. So.
Well, we appreciate law enforcement. We appreciate what you do. And in a world today that is kind of upside down, you're one of the threads in this fabric that's holding this whole thing together. That's the way I feel about it. But
well, thank you.
You're a very big, integral part of that. And we respect you and appreciate. I hear you say you're probably going to be moving into retirement. I'm just going to, this is just a little side. I won't get too much into this, but Kevin is. And so you've had many years into this profession, and we want to thank you for the service.
Well, bless you. Thank you for that.
All right, and thank you. You're young. You got some more time to go. He's just
many
a young,
years.
he's a young pup in this. Well, I thank you both for being guests today on Community Spotlight Podcast, again representing the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.